Hello everyone. Today I want to talk about something significant. We will talk about how to think and speak in English. A great many folks want to speak English fluently but they feel stuck. They understand words but when they try to speak they stop. This happens because they are still thinking in their own language first and then they try to translate. This makes speaking gradual and challenging. So today I will assist you learn how to think in English and speak more easily. Chapter 1, Begin Thinking in English. First let me tell you a simple story. When I began learning English, I had the same problem. I knew some words and I could understand a bit. But when I tried to speak, I stopped again and again. I was thinking in my own language and then I tried to change it into English. It took too much time. I felt nervous and sometimes I stayed quiet. But then I learned something significant. I learned that if I want to speak English, well, I must begin thinking in English. That changed everything for me. Thinking in English may sound challenging, but it's not impossible. You just need to begin little. You don't need large sentences in the beginning. Begin with simple words. For example, when you see a chair, just say in your mind chair. When you see a car, say car. When you drink water, think I am drinking water. These little steps assist your brain get used to English. Gradually your mind will stop translating and begin thinking directly in English. Now let's talk about your daily life. Your daily routine is the best place to practice thinking in English. When you wake up, think I am waking up. When you brush your teeth, think I am brushing my teeth. When you eat quick, think I am eating food. These are simple sentences but they are very powerful. They train your brain to use English naturally. I remember when I began doing this. At first it felt strange. I forgot many times. Sometimes I went back to my own language but I didn't stop. I kept trying each and every day. After some time it became easier. My mind began to use English without forcing it. This is how practice works. The more you do it, the improved you get. Another significant thing is to stop translating in your head. Translation is gradual. It makes speaking challenging. Instead, try to connect words with meaning, not with your language. For example, when you hear the word apple, don't think of the word in your language. Just imagine the fruit. This is how children learn language. They connect words with images and feelings, not with translation. You can also use pictures to assist yourself. Look at a picture and describe it in English. It can be very simple. You can say there's a boy. He is running. The sky is blue. This exercise is very assistful. It trains your brain to think directly in English without translating. Now let's talk about speaking. Thinking is the first step, but speaking is also truly essential. When you begin thinking in English, speaking becomes easier. You don't need to wait and translate. Words come quicker. Your sentences become smoother. When I was learning, I talked to myself in English. Yes, I talked to myself. It may sound funny, but it works. I described my day. I said things like, today I am feeling great, or, I need to complete my work. This assisted me practice without fear. There was no one to judge me. I could make mistakes and learn from them. You can do the same. Talk to yourself each and every day, even for several minutes. It builds your confidence. It also assists you find your mistakes and improve. Another assistful tip is to use simple English. Many learners try to use challenging words, but this makes speaking harder. Simple English is powerful. If you can say something in a simple way, that's enough. For example, instead of saying a very long sentence, just say I am delighted or I am tired. Clear and simple speaking is always improved. I also want to tell you that mistakes are okay, don't be afraid of them. When you begin thinking and speaking in English, you will make mistakes, that's normal. Every learner makes mistakes. The significant thing is to keep going. Every mistake teaches you something new. I made many mistakes when I was learning. Sometimes my sentences were wrong. Sometimes I used the wrong words. But I didn't stop. I learned from those mistakes. And gradually I improved. So don't be afraid. Speak freely and learn step by step. Another great practice is to repeat sentences. When you hear a sentence in English, repeat it. Say it again and again. This assists your brain remember the structure. It also improves your speaking. You can listen to short sentences and repeat them daily. Also, try to surround yourself with English. Listen to English as much as you can. Watch videos, listen to stories, and hear conversations. The more you listen, the more your brain understands how English works. This makes thinking in English easier. I remember when I began listening more. At first, I understood very little, but I kept listening each and every day. Gradually, I began to understand more words. Then, sentences became clear. Listening assisted me think in English quicker. Another significant thing is to be patient. Thinking in English takes time. It won't happen in one day, but if you practice each and every day, you will see improvement. Even little progress is significant. Sometimes you may feel tired or confused. That's okay. Take a short break and come back again. Don't give up. Each and every day you practice, you're getting improved. So always remember, thinking in English is the key to speaking English well. Begin little. Use simple words. Practice each and every day. Don't translate. Talk to yourself, and most significantly, believe in yourself. You can do it. Step by step you will improve. Your thinking will become quicker and your speaking will become easier. Chapter 2. Train your mind to speak without fear. First, let me tell you a simple story. When I began speaking English, I was very shy. I knew some words and I could make little sentences, but I didn't speak in front of others. I was afraid that people would laugh at me. I was afraid that I would say something wrong. So I stayed quiet most of the time. But one day I realized something significant. If I don't speak, I will never improve. That day I decided to try. The first time I spoke English in front of someone, I was very nervous. My voice wasn't powerful. My sentences weren't perfect. I made many mistakes. But something surprising happened. The person didn't laugh. Instead, they listened. They understood me. That gave me confidence. I realized that speaking is more significant than being perfect. Fear is natural. Everyone feels it. Even people who speak English very well were once afraid. The difference is they didn't let fear stop them. They spoke anyway, and that's what you must do. Now let's talk about how to remove this fear. The first step is to accept mistakes. Mistakes aren't poor, they're part of learning. When you make a mistake, you learn something new. So instead of feeling poor, feel delighted you're improving. When I was learning, I changed my thinking. Instead of saying I made a mistake, I said I learned something new. This little change assisted me a lot. It made me more confident. It made me speak more. Another significant step is to begin speaking in a safe place. You don't have to speak in front of a great many folks in the beginning. Begin little. Speak to yourself. Speak in front of a mirror. Talk to a friend who supports you. These little steps build your confidence. I used to stand in front of a mirror and speak. I looked at myself and talked about my day. At first, it felt strange, but it assisted me. I became more comfortable with my voice. I became more confident in speaking. You can also record yourself. Speak for 1 or 2 minutes and record it. Then listen to it. You won't see your mistakes, but you will also see your progress. This is a very powerful exercise. Now let's talk about confidence. Confidence doesn't come in one day. It grows gradually. Every time you speak, your confidence grows a bit more. So speak as much as you can, even if it's just several sentences. Another assistful tip is to use simple sentences. Don't try to speak like an expert from the first day. Keep your sentences short and clear. For example, say I like this or I am learning English. Simple sentences assist you speak without stress. I remember when I tried to use very challenging words, I got confused and I stopped speaking. Then I learned that simple English is improved. It assisted me speak more freely. So, always keep it simple. Now, let's talk about practice with others. Speaking with people is truly essential. If you have a friend who is learning English, practice together. You can assist each other. You can correct each other. And most significantly, you can grow together. I had a friend who was also learning English. We spoke each and every day. Sometimes our sentences were wrong, but we didn't care. We laughed, we learned, and we improved. That practice assisted us both. If you don't have someone around you, do not worry. You can still practice. You can speak online. You can join groups. There are a great many folks who want to learn just like you. Another significant thing is to focus on communication, not perfection. Your goal is to share your idea, not to be perfect. If people understand you, that's success. For example, if you say yesterday I go market, it's not perfect but people understand you, that's great. Over time, you will learn to say, yesterday, I went to the market. But first, focus on speaking. I also want to tell you to stop comparing yourself to others. Everyone learns at a different speed. Some people learn quick. Some people take more time. That's okay. Focus on your own journey. When I compared myself to others, I felt unhappy. I felt gradual. But when I focused on my own progress, I felt improved. I saw my improvement and that gave me motivation. Another assistful tip is to prepare little topics. Think about simple topics like your daily routine, your favorite food, or your hobbies. Practice speaking about them. This makes speaking easier because you already know what to say. For example, you can talk about your day. You can say, I woke up early. I had breakfast. Then I went to work. These simple sentences build your fluency. Also, try to smile when you speak. It makes you feel relaxed. It also makes you sound more confident. Your body language is significant, too. Now, let's talk about mindset. Your mindset is very powerful. If you think I can't speak English, then you won't speak. But if you think I am learning and I will improve, then you will grow. I always told myself I can do it. Even when I made mistakes, I stayed positive. This mindset assisted me continue. Another significant thing is consistency. Speak each and every day, even if it's for 5 minutes. Daily practice is improved than long practice once a week. When I began speaking daily, I saw a large change. My words came quicker. My sentences became improved. Consistency made a large difference. Sometimes you will feel shy. Sometimes you will feel stuck. That's normal. Don't stop. Keep going. Every little effort counts. So always remember, fear is normal, but it shouldn't control you. Speak without fear. Make mistakes. Learn from them. Practice daily. Stay confident and believe in yourself. You're powerfuler than your fear. And step by step you will become a confident English speaker. Chapter 3. Build powerful vocabulary the smart way. First, let me tell you a simple story. When I began learning English, I tried to learn long lists of words. I wrote many words in my notebook and tried to memorize them. For 1 or 2 days, I remembered them. But after a week, I forgot most of them. I felt frustrated. I thought I wasn't great at learning. But later, I understood my mistake. I was learning words without using them. That's why I forgot them. Learning words isn't about memorizing, it's about using. When you use a word, you remember it improved. So instead of learning 50 words in 1 day, learn 5 words and use them again and again. This is a smarter way. Now let's talk about how to learn words properly. The first step is to learn words with meaning and feeling. Don't just learn the translation. Try to understand the word. For example, if you learn the word delighted, don't just think of its meaning in your language. Think about a moment when you felt delighted. Connect the word with your feeling. This assists your brain remember improved. Another significant tip is to learn words in sentences, not alone. Words are always used in sentences. So when you learn a new word, make a sentence with it. For example, if you learn the word lovely, you can say the sky is beautiful or clear's throat. This place is beautiful. This makes the word powerfuler in your memory. I remember when I learned the word delicious. I used it again and again. I said, this food is delicious. The tea is delicious. This cake is delicious. Using the word many times assisted me remember it easily. Now, let's talk about daily practice each and every day. Learn several new words. Not too many. Just 5 or 10 words are enough. Then use them in your speaking and writing. Repeat them during the day. This repetition assists you remember. You can also write your new words in a notebook. But don't just write the word and meaning. Write a sentence with each word. This makes your learning powerfuler. I used to keep a little notebook each and every day. I wrote new words and made sentences. Then I read them again at night. This simple habit assisted me a lot. Another assistful method is to use words in your daily life. Look around you and try to name things in English. For example, when you're in your room, say, this is a bed. This is a table. This is a window. This practice connects words with real life. You can also describe your actions. Say, I am walking. I am eating. I am opening the door. These simple sentences improve both your vocabulary and your thinking in English. Now, let's talk about learning from context. Context means the situation where a word is used. When you read or listen, you will see words in sentences. Try to understand the meaning from the sentence. This is improved than always using a dictionary. For example, if you hear he was very tired, so he went to bed early, you may not know the word tired, but you can guess the meaning. This guessing assists your brain learn quicker. Of course, dictionaries are assistful, too. When you can't understand a word, look it up. But after that, use the word in your own sentence. This is truly essential. Another fun way to learn vocabulary is through stories. Stories are full of useful words. When you read or listen to stories, you see how words are used naturally. This makes learning easier and more enjoyable. I remember reading simple stories when I was learning. At first I understood only a bit, but I kept reading gradually. I began understanding more. I learned many new words from stories. You can also watch videos and learn words from them. When you hear a new word, try to notice how it's used. Then try to use it yourself. Now let's talk about repetition. Repetition is the key to memory. If you learn a word once and never use it again, you will forget it. But if you repeat it many times, you will remember it. You can review your words each and every day. Look at your notebook. Read your sentences. Say the words out loud. This simple practice makes a large difference. Another assistful tip is to group words. Learn words in groups. For example, learn words about food or words about travel or words about emotions. This makes learning easier because your brain connects similar words. For example, you can learn words like delighted, unhappy, angry, and excited together. Then you can use them in sentences like I am delighted today or she is feeling unhappy. Also try to use new words in conversation. When you speak, try to use the words you learned. Even if it feels challenging, try. This practice makes your vocabulary active. I used to challenge myself each and every day. I tried to use new words in my speaking. Sometimes it wasn't simple, but it assisted me improve quickly. Another significant thing is to be patient. Vocabulary doesn't grow in one day. It grows gradually. But if you practice daily, you will see large improvement over time. Sometimes you may forget words, that's normal, don't feel poor. Just review them and use them again gradually. They will stay in your memory. Also, make learning fun. You can play word games. You can make little quizzes for yourself. Fun activities make learning easier and more interesting. Now remember, vocabulary isn't about how many words you know, it's about how many words you can use. So focus on using words, not just memorizing them. Begin little. Learn several words each and every day. Use them in sentences. Repeat them. Practice daily, and enjoy the process. Step by step, your vocabulary will grow. And when your vocabulary grows, your speaking becomes powerfuler and more confident. So keep learning, keep practicing, and keep moving forward. Chapter 4. Improve your speaking with daily practice. First, let me tell you a simple story. When I was learning English, there was a time when I knew many words. I could understand books and videos, but I still couldn't speak well. Why? Because I wasn't practicing speaking each and every day. I was learning, but I wasn't using. Then I changed one habit. I began speaking each and every day, even for several minutes. That little change made a large difference. Speaking is like a muscle. The more you use it, the powerfuler it becomes. If you don't use it, it becomes weak. So you must practice speaking each and every day. Now you may think I don't have anyone to speak with. That's okay. You can still practice. The first and easiest way is to speak with yourself. Yes, talk to yourself in English. It may feel strange at first, but it's very powerful. You can begin by describing your day. Say, I am waking up. I am going to work. I am eating lunch. These simple sentences assist you build confidence. They also assist your brain think quicker in English. I used to talk to myself each and every day. I described everything I was doing. Sometimes I made mistakes, but I didn't stop. Gradually my speaking improved. My sentences became smoother and I felt more confident. Another great method is shadowing. Shadowing means you listen to someone speaking English and repeat what they say at the same time. This assists you improve your pronunciation and fluency. For example, you can watch a short video, listen to one sentence, pause and repeat it. Try to copy the speaker's voice, tone, and speed. This is a very powerful exercise. When I began shadowing, I noticed a large change. My pronunciation improved. I began speaking more naturally. It also assisted me think quicker in English. Now, let's talk about speaking in front of a mirror. This is another simple but powerful technique. Stand in front of a mirror and speak. Talk about any topic. It can be your day, your plans, or your feelings. When you speak in front of a mirror, you see yourself. This assists you improve your confidence and body language. It also prepares you for real conversations. I use this method a lot. At first, I felt shy, but later I became more comfortable. It assisted me speak more clearly and confidently. Another significant tip is to record your voice. Speak for 1 or 2 minutes and record it. Then listen to it. You will hear your mistakes, but you will also see your progress. Don't be afraid of your voice. Everyone feels strange when they hear their own voice for the first time, but this practice assists you improve quickly. Now let's talk about speaking with others. If you have a friend who is learning English, practice together. You can talk about simple topics. You can ask each other questions. This makes learning fun and interactive. I had a friend who practiced with me. We spoke each and every day. Sometimes we laughed at our mistakes, but we kept going. This practice assisted us both improve. If you don't have a partner, you can find people online. There are many learners like you. You can speak with them and practice together. Another assistful tip is to prepare topics. Choose simple topics like your favorite food, your hobby, or your daily routine. Practice speaking about them. For example, you can say, "My favorite food is rice," or "I like playing cricket." These simple sentences build your confidence. As you improve, you can add more details. You can say, "My favorite food is rice because it's simple and tasty." This assists you speak longer sentences. Now, let's talk about consistency. Practice speaking each and every day, even if it's just for 5 or 10 minutes. Daily practice is more powerful than long practice once a week. When I began speaking daily, I saw a large improvement. My words came quicker. I didn't stop as much. My confidence grew. Another significant thing is to not worry about perfection. Many learners wait until they can speak perfectly, but this is a mistake. You don't need to be perfect to speak. You just need to begin. If you wait for perfection, you will never begin. So speak with what you know. Use simple words. Make simple sentences, that's enough. Also try to think while speaking. Don't prepare everything in your head before speaking. Let your words come naturally. This assists you become more fluent. At first it may feel gradual. You may stop and think, that's okay. With practice it will become quicker. Another assistful method is to ask and answer questions. Ask yourself simple questions and answer them. For example, "What did I do today?" Then answer, "I woke up early. I had breakfast. I went outside." This builds your speaking skills. You can also practice storytelling. Tell a little story about your day or your past. This assists you speak longer and more clearly. Now, let's talk about staying motivated. Sometimes you may feel tired or bored, that's normal. On those days, keep your practice short, but don't stop completely. Even 2 minutes of speaking is improved than nothing. The key is to stay consistent. Also, celebrate your progress. When you see improvement, feel proud. Maybe you spoke more clearly today. Maybe you used a new word. These are little wins, but they are significant. I always celebrated my little progress. It kept me motivated. It made learning enjoyable. So always remember, speaking is a skill. You improve it by practice. Speak each and every day. Talk to yourself. Use simple sentences. Don't fear mistakes. Stay consistent. Step by step, your speaking will improve. You will become more confident and English will feel more natural to you. Keep going, you're doing great. Chapter 5. Improve your listening to think quicker. First, let me tell you a simple story. When I was learning English, I focused a lot on reading and writing, but I didn't spend much time listening. Because of this, I could understand written English, but when someone spoke, I found it challenging to follow. I felt gradual. I couldn't respond quickly. Then I realized that I needed to improve my listening. So I began listening to English each and every day. At first it was very hard. I didn't understand everything. Sometimes I understood only several words. But I didn't stop. I kept listening. Gradually things began to change. I began to understand more. My mind became quicker. I could think and respond more easily. Listening trains your brain. It assists you recognize words quickly. It also assists you understand how people really speak. This is truly essential if you want to speak naturally. Now, let's talk about how to practice listening. The first step is to listen each and every day, even if it's just for several minutes. Consistency is truly essential. Daily listening builds your skills step by step. You can begin with simple content. Don't choose very challenging videos or quick speech in the beginning. Begin with gradual and clear English. This assists you understand improved and builds your confidence. I began with simple stories and short videos. The language was simple and the speed was gradual. This made it easier for me to understand. As I improved, I moved to more challenging content. Another assistful tip is to listen and repeat. When you hear a sentence, pause and repeat it. Try to copy the sound, the tone, and the rhythm. This not only improves your listening, but also your speaking. I used this method a lot. I listened to short sentences and repeated them many times. This assisted me remember the sounds and speak more naturally. Now let's talk about active listening. Active listening means you listen with full attention. You don't just hear the sound but you try to understand the meaning. When you listen, focus on the message. Don't worry if you do not understand every word. Try to understand the main idea. This is truly essential. For example, if someone is talking about their day, you may not understand every word, but you can understand that they are talking about their routine. This is enough. Another useful method is to listen to the same content again and again. Repetition assists you understand improved. The first time you may understand a bit, the second time you understand more, the third time even more. I used to listen to the same story many times. Each time I understood something new. This assisted me a lot. You can also use subtitles when watching videos. First, watch with subtitles. This assists you understand the words. Then watch again without subtitles. This assists you improve your listening. Now let's talk about different types of listening. You should listen to different kinds of English. Listen to conversations, stories, interviews, and even simple talks. This assists you understand different speaking styles. I listen to many types of content. I listen to stories, conversations, and even simple news. This assisted me understand different voices and styles. Another significant thing is to listen to natural English. Real-life English is sometimes quick and not perfect. People use short forms. They join words and they speak quickly. Listening assists you get used to this. At first this can feel challenging, but with practice your brain adjusts. You begin understanding quicker and more easily. Now let's talk about using listening to improve thinking. When you listen a lot, your brain stores patterns. These patterns assist you think in English. You don't need to translate. You just understand and respond. For example, if you hear "how are you?" many times your brain learns it. You don't translate it. You just understand and answer "I am fine." This is how listening assists thinking. Another assistful tip is to listen during your free time. You can listen while walking, traveling or resting. This makes learning simple and natural. I used to listen while doing simple tasks. Even when I wasn't fully focused, my brain was still learning. This assisted me improve quicker. Also, don't feel poor if you do not understand everything. It's normal. Even advanced learners don't understand every word. Sometimes focus on progress, not perfection. When I was learning, I often felt confused, but I kept going gradually. I improved. So, be patient with yourself. Another great practice is to take notes while listening. Write down new words or phrases, then review them later. This assists you remember and use them. You can also speak what you hear. After listening to a short part, try to repeat it in your own words. This builds both listening and speaking skills. Now, let's talk about making listening fun. Choose content you enjoy. It can be stories, funny videos, or topics you like. When you enjoy it, you stay motivated. I always chose content that interested me. This made learning enjoyable. I didn't feel bored. Also, set little goals. For example, listen for 10 minutes each and every day or understand one new sentence. Little goals keep you focused and motivated. Another significant thing is patience. Listening takes time. You may not see results immediately, but with regular practice, you will improve. So always remember, listening is the key to thinking quicker in English. The more you listen, the quicker your brain understands. The quicker you understand, the easier you speak. Practice each and every day. Listen actively. Repeat what you hear. Be patient and enjoy the process. Step by step, your listening will improve, your thinking will become quicker, and your speaking will become more natural. Keep going, you're making great progress. Chapter 6. Use English in real-life situations. First, let me tell you a simple story. When I was learning English, I spent plenty of time reading and listening. I understood many things, but I still felt nervous in real conversations. One day I had to speak to someone in English. I was scared, but I tried. I used simple sentences. I made mistakes, but I communicated. That moment taught me something truly essential. Practice in real life is the best teacher. Using English in real life assists you become natural. It assists you think quicker. It also builds your confidence. When you use English in real situations, you're not just learning, you are living the language. Now let's talk about how you can do this. The first step is to begin little. You don't need large conversations in the beginning. Use simple English in your daily life. For example, when you go to a shop, try to use English in your mind. Think, I want to buy this, or how much is this? Even if you don't speak it out loud, thinking like this is very assistful. If you have the chance, try to speak. For example, if you meet someone who understands English, say simple things like, hello, how are you, or thank you. These little steps build your confidence. I remember when I first used English outside, I felt nervous, but I spoke simple words. The other person understood me, and that made me feel delighted. It gave me courage to try again. Another great way is to use English with your friends. If you have a friend who is learning English, try to speak with them, even if it's just for several minutes. It assists a lot. You can also set a little rule. For example, speak only English for 10 minutes each and every day with your friend. This makes practice fun and regular. If you don't have someone to speak with, do not worry. You can create real-life situations by yourself. For example, imagine you're in a restaurant. Practice what you would say. You can say, I would like to order food, or, can I have some water? This kind of practice prepares you for real situations. Now, let's talk about using English in your daily routine. Try to change little things in your life into English. For example, change your phone language to English. Read messages in English. Write your notes in English. I did this when I was learning. At first it was challenging, but gradually I got used to it. My brain began thinking in English more naturally. Another assistful tip is to write your daily activities in English. At the end of the day, write what you did. For example, today I woke up early. I went to the market. I watched a video. This simple habit improves your thinking and speaking. You can also speak about your day. Tell your story in English. This assists you use real-life language. Now let's talk about asking questions. In real life, we often ask questions. So practice asking simple questions like, what is your name? Where are you from? Or what are you doing? These are very useful. You can also answer these questions. Practice both asking and answering. This prepares you for real conversations. Another significant thing is to listen and respond. In real conversations, you must understand and reply. So when someone speaks, listen carefully and try to answer simply. Don't try to make perfect sentences. Just try to communicate your idea, that's enough. I remember many times when I didn't know the right words, but I still tried to explain. I used simple words and people understood me. This gave me confidence. Now let's talk about body language. Communication isn't only about words. Your face, your hands, and your expressions also assist. Smile when you speak. Look confident. This makes your communication improve. Another assistful tip is to stay calm. Sometimes in real situations, you may feel nervous. That's normal. Take a deep breath and speak gradually. Don't rush. Also, be ready to repeat. If someone doesn't understand you, say it again in a different way. This is part of communication. Now, let's talk about learning from real situations. Every conversation teaches you something. After you speak, think about it. What did you say? What could you say improved next time? This reflection assists you improve. I used to think about my conversations. I learned from my mistakes. This assisted me grow quicker. Another significant thing is to not avoid speaking. A great many folks understand English but avoid speaking in real life. This graduals their progress. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Begin now. Even little conversations are valuable. Every time you speak, you improve. Also try to enjoy the process. Real life practice can be fun. You meet new people. You learn new things. You grow step by step. Now remember, using English in real life is the bridge between learning and speaking fluently. It connects everything you have learned. Begin little. Use simple words. Practice daily. Don't fear mistakes. Learn from every experience. Step by step, you will become more comfortable. Your thinking will become quicker. Your speaking will become natural. Keep going. You're very close to your goal. Chapter 7. Build confidence and speak without fear. A great many folks know English. They understand it. They can read and write. But when it comes to speaking, they feel nervous. They feel afraid. If this happens to you, don't worry, you're not alone. This is very common. Let me tell you something significant. Fear is the largest barrier to speaking English. Not grammar, not vocabulary. Fear. Fear of making mistakes. Fear of being judged. Fear of sounding wrong. But here is the truth. You can't become confident without speaking, and you cannot speak if you're always afraid. So the only way forward is to face your fear. I remember when I began speaking English, my hands would shake. My voice wasn't clear. I was always thinking, what if I say something wrong? But one day I decided something. I said to myself, it's okay to make mistakes. That decision changed everything. The first step to building confidence is to accept mistakes. Mistakes aren't your enemy, they are your teacher. Every mistake shows you what to improve. Think about a child learning to speak. A child makes many mistakes, but the child keeps trying. That's why the child learns quick. You have to do the same. The second step is to begin speaking without waiting for perfection. A great many folks wait until they feel ready. But the truth is, you will never feel fully ready. You become ready by speaking. Begin with simple sentences. Don't try to speak long or complex sentences in the beginning. For example, instead of saying a long sentence, say I like this, or I understand, or I need assist. Simple is powerful. The third step is to practice speaking each and every day. Confidence grows with practice. Even 10 to 15 minutes of speaking daily can make a large difference. You can speak alone. Talk about your day. Describe what you see around you. For example, I am sitting in my room. The weather is hot. I am learning English. This may feel strange at first, but it works. Another powerful method is mirror practice. Stand in front of a mirror and speak. Look at yourself. This assists you become comfortable with your voice and your expressions. I used this method a lot. At first, I felt shy, but after some time I became more confident. I began to enjoy it. The next step is to change your mindset. Don't think my English is poor. Instead, think I am improving each and every day. Your thoughts affect your confidence. Also, stop comparing yourself with others. Everyone has a different journey. Some people learn quicker, some gradually. That's okay. Focus on your own progress. Another significant tip is to celebrate little wins. If you speak one sentence today, that's progress. If you understand something new, that's progress. Appreciate yourself. Now, let's talk about handling fear in real situations. When you speak to someone, you may feel nervous. Your mind may go blank. This is normal. When this happens, take a deep breath. Gradual down. Use simple words. Don't rush. Give yourself time to think. If you forget a word, don't stop. Try to explain it in another way. Communication isn't about perfect words, it's about sharing your idea. For example, if you forget the word calculator, you can say the machine we use for counting. This is still communication. Another assistful habits to prepare simple sentences before speaking. If you know you will meet someone, think about what you can say. This reduces fear. Now let's talk about positive environment. Try to surround yourself with supportive people. People who encourage you, not laugh at you. If someone laughs at your mistakes, don't take it personally. Remember, you're learning. You are growing. That's something to be proud of. Also, listen to confident speakers. Watch how they speak. Notice their tone, their speed, their expressions. This assists you learn naturally. But remember, confidence doesn't come in one day, it's a process. It grows step by step. Every time you speak, you become powerfuler. Every time you face your fear, it becomes littler. So don't run away from fear. Use it as a sign that you're growing. Now let me give you a simple challenge from today. Speak at least 5 sentences in English each and every day. It can be with yourself or with someone else. Do this daily and you will see improvement. Believe in yourself, you're capable. You can do this. Confidence isn't about being perfect, it's about trying again and again. Keep speaking. Keep improving. Keep moving forward.